Okay, one more.
What time is it?
Hello my lovely friends and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Joanna, but you can call me Jo. Today I thought we'd take a sharp left, leave the book territory and enter into my favourite type of media, TV shows. I was thinking about random TV shows that I watched in my childhood that apparently not many other people in my life have watched, and that kind of got me thinking about all the TV shows that I feel very emotionally attached to. So I've created a list of all the TV shows that I can think of. I'm sure I'm missing a few that I really connected to. I thought the best way to do this to make it a bit more cohesive would be to do childhood shows first, teenager shows second, and the shows I'm currently watching last. So without further ado, let's look into the shows that I remember being incredibly emotionally attached to. The first one I've put down was Blue's Clues. I just freaking loved that dog, and even more so, I loved Steve. And I'm so sad he left. It just hit the way it needed to hit. I loved the little like paw print, and I liked the set. I liked how fake everything looked. He committed so hard. Speaking of commitment, and speaking of going hard for no reason, Art Attack. The salt paintings are engraved in my brain. They always started off a bit weird, and then you'd see the final bird eye view, and you'd just be like, jaw on the floor.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done.
Next up we have Bear in the Big Blue House. I would watch it every night before bed and I would sing the moon song.
Goodbye, goodbye, good friends, goodbye, 'cause now it's time to go.
It just, I don't know, it was such a nice show about friendship. And it was just really sweet. I was definitely attached to those characters. I don't remember anyone else though. I remember the moon and the bear.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Not you. You can choke.
This was probably one of my favourite shows. I am still upset at what Netflix did with this.
Trash. Trash.
The Winx Club. It was just incredible. It probably doesn't pass the Bechdel test, but it doesn't have to. Like, you know, it's fine. I don't care. I think Stella was my favourite for a really long time. My favourite colour is orange and her outfit was just incredible. I think also I'm such a Leo that I was like, oh, fire! And I was just obsessed with her. This has nothing to do with their characters. It was all based on vibes and fits. Speaking of magic, the next one I have is Magic School Bus.
Please let this be a normal field trip with a friend? No way!
I remember the theme song and I remember the teacher. I just thought she was really, really wacky and cool. I just wanted to go on that bus and have an adventure. Is that too much to ask?
I'm going on an adventure!
I know I said Winx was my favourite show back in the day, but this one is very much up there as well, and that's Fairly Odd Parents. I discovered the show in the most immigrant child way possible, where my mum went to, I think it was Woolworths, and she just saw a DVD and it was Fairly Odd Parents, but they only had 2 episodes. It wasn't like a full season. I remember just watching that on repeat.
Let's go again! Let's go again!
Next up we have Sailor Moon. I think a lot of my personality could be traced back to this show, because again, it was one of those I would watch any chance I could. This list is just proving to me how much I just like magical girl groups.
Another one. Another one.
The next one is the anime called Doremi. There was this one very specific channel for kids, and it would just play the most obscure animes. There was a time where the channel stopped working. It was months, and all I wanted to watch was this silly little show about these silly little witches, and I couldn't get access to it.
Kim, there's people that are dying.
Months after, it finally worked, and I kid you not, I cried. Looking back on that now, I actually think that was the first time I cried of happiness. Oh my god, I'm getting emotional. Ew, stop it.
Get some help.
Digimon. So fucking good. Digimon was just that girl, you know? That show had everything. It had visuals, it had great characters, the animation style was really great. It was everything you needed from a TV show.
If I had a mic right now, I'd drop it.
I was obsessed with Recess. I loved the characters in this show. I think the dynamic within the main friendship group worked so well, but also all the other kids from all the other grades was so much fun. It actually pays homage to one of my favourite movies ever, which is Heathers, with the Ashleys, and the fact that they all had the same name and they were just bitches.
Fuck me gently with the chainsaw.
This show was weirdly emotional at times, like it really got profound, and I remember feeling all those emotions as a young child. To be able to convey that emotion, especially in a kids show, is incredible. There seems to be a trend here where I just liked really gross shows, because I remember this show being disgusting. And I'm talking about Dave the Barbarian. I loved all of the characters, and oh wait, I don't remember her name. His sister with the ginger hair and the pink fluffy outfit. She ate.
Oh, snap.
Next up we have House of Mouse.
Hi, it's fucking Mickey.
It was such an interesting premise to have an awards show of all the characters that we knew. I just think as a young child I was like, this is what award shows should be like. Next up, we kind of have the big two shows, the Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place.
I hate you. Thanks! I feel the exact same. What?
I also liked both of the movies. I know without a doubt the Wizards one did make me cry. The Hannah Montana movie is everything to me. I understand why they continued with the show, but the Hannah Montana movie really does wrap things up so nicely. I think Wizards was more emotionally charged for me, so I think, only by a little bit, I think I prefer Wizards over Hannah Montana.
I mean, I don't think anybody truly actually cares.
I've written down Monday Night Raw.
I'm John Cena!
I was a WWE girly. I definitely preferred Raw over SmackDown. I remember being introduced to wrestling by my father. He put it on and I just fell in love with it.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya!
It's something that brings me a lot of nostalgia, and it is sad to see that it has fallen off so badly. I do sometimes still pop in and watch, but it doesn't captivate me as much as it used to. Next up, I have a very niche TV show that most of you probably won't know. This show revolutionized Portuguese TV, Morangos com acucar, which translates to strawberries with sugar. Every season there would be new actors playing new characters in a different school, in a different town. For me specifically, season 3 was top tier when I was a child. There are some songs from that season that if I randomly hear them, I still think about that season. In my humble opinion, that's good TV. That show was just insane, and for it to have been on air for so long was just astounding.
Clap if you care.
I'm so glad that there's been sort of a H2O renaissance happening online. I remember watching sort of like behind the scenes videos on how the tales were made. Like, I was invested. Because I would watch this on a Portuguese channel, they did just the most atrocious dubbing. When I was slightly older, I rewatched the show on YouTube and I was so taken back. I was like, wait, they're not Portuguese? That's when I was like, oh my god, this is set in Australia. I genuinely had no idea up until that moment.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
I distinctively remember the episode where Emma dyes her hair red and them all just kind of gaslighting Zayn and being like, there's no such thing as mermaids, dude.
That is not correct.
We got blessed with Emperor's New Groove, and then they decided to give us more with Emperor's New School. It consisted of Yzma trying to kill Cusco more, but he has to focus on school, so he can't really look after himself. We love steaks! It's so 2000s. That's why it's so good. So now we get into a very eclectic mix of my teenage years. We'll start with genuinely my favourite show ever, and I will not be hearing any criticism. I know it's a bad show. Teen Wolf. I genuinely do an annual rewatch. I think the treatment that Arden Cho got on the show really sucks, and she deserves better, because genuinely her storyline was one of the best, and it created what I think was an almost perfect season of TV.
And that's the truth.
If Jamie Lynn Spears bad, why is Zoey 101 good? We don't like the fact that she got pregnant and ruined the show, first of all. Second of all, we don't like what she's done to Britney. Bad. Zoey 101 is so good though. If I had been more obnoxious, I would have absolutely gotten a dog tag and put a key on it and just painted it the way she did it. She was a trailblazer, influencer of our time. Another show that I definitely was too old to be watching, Phineas and Ferb. Why is it so good? The songs go so hard, and we should be thankful and we should be grateful. Despite the fact that the inventions themselves were so good, which kind of kept you watching, the characters were fantastic. I loved Candace, despite the fact that she was annoying and obnoxious. I think she had every right to be. Perry, icon, legend, we love Perry. I loved his sort of enemies to lovers with, if you can call it that, with Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Going from Phineas and Ferb to Criminal Minds feels like a very big jump. I was definitely introduced to Criminal Minds because of Tumblr and people thirsting over Matthew, and I was like, yep, absolutely, I will watch this show because I think this man is handsome. And that's what I did. I watched 16 seasons of a show. Thank God I enjoyed it. Can you imagine I did all that and I didn't enjoy the show? I just did it because I liked the way some of the cast looked. That makes me sound vapid and shallow. Being on Tumblr a lot as a teenager just meant that you would watch shows just because you saw one gif and you were like, looks kinda good. That was the start of my very long and very tedious relationship with the show Supernatural. We won't talk about the ending. I don't want to, and you can't make me. There's no words to describe the impact this show has had on me. I will probably never rewatch it. 15 seasons, like, you're not gonna do that. You're just not.
Because I don't want to. No, permission denied.
We have a show that really should not have gripped me the way it did, and that is Miraculous. It's so dumb, but it's so good. I love how obvious it is to us, and yet it's not obvious to any of the characters who the other people are. It's ridiculous. It's so funny. This is a kids show, but it's so well thought out. Continuing on the cartoon front, totally Spies. The outfits are they have different outfits. It's not just the same outfit every day, and the outfits are so well planned out, and it's so Y2K in the best way. They look modern, and I think that is such a feat on the creator's part. He also created a really compelling friendship, and the fact that they're spies sometimes kind of takes the back seat for me. I like seeing how they interact with each other, and you know, they just go through their normal teenage girl issues. It's a great show. It's fantastic, and I do occasionally watch it from time to time still. Also, the theme song. So good. Stop it. I've written down Next.
How on earth do I even describe Next?
MTV had a show called Next, and in the car there would be a guy or a girl who was trying to find their perfect date. It would be 4 or 5 contestants who were trying to be this person's perfect date. A contestant would come out, they'd have like 5 seconds with this person, and the person would just go,
Next.
Nobody needs to be humbled that badly, you know? Like, it's so mean. Why did I enjoy watching this? The thing is, like, I was definitely watching this maybe when I was 12 or 13, and I knew it was ridiculous then. That's kind of the way I watch TV. I know things are bad, but I enjoy it anyways. I think if it's surface level, it's surface level, you know?
The tea is exceptionally good today.
My biggest red flag as a person is that Jersey Shore is my comfort TV show. Yep. This is what happens when parents do not supervise what their kid watches. I should not have been watching that show. Absolutely not, but I rewatch it every year. I do. I feel connected to these people, and I know that's ridiculous, I know, but I do have a parasocial relationship with them. They can melt my brain, it's fine, I don't need it. We're keeping it on MTV. Awkward. Not many people in my life have watched this show. I would love to do sort of an awkward in retrospect type of video, because even at the time, I knew that show was a train wreck. But it was my train wreck. It was obviously very dramatic, and I don't think real people would act that way. But that was kind of the appeal to me, where it was so far apart from real life. I have a love and hate relationship with Jenna. She's cool, but she's terrible. During my teen years, I also discovered Rebelde, which again, another Portuguese show.
Ugh, again?
It's interesting to learn more about this show, because at the time when I was watching, I didn't realise it was actually a show that they kind of ripped off from an Argentinian show called Rebelde. I'm sure the storyline is taken beat by beat from the Argentinian version, but it slaps, and if it is, they did such a good job with it. It's so quintessentially teen. It's just dramatic breakups, sex, drugs, cult? That's not quite teenagery. So many tropes. There's enemies to lovers, there's revenge plots because someone killed someone's dad. Like,
the drama is sometimes a little bit overwhelming.
It's just a teenage telenovela, and that's what I'm here for. That's pretty much the media that I really felt attached to during my teenage years. So now we're going to go on to the ones I'm currently watching and I feel quite attached to. The Good Place is probably one of my favourites. You're stuck with these characters, which makes you feel very fond of them. Even characters that I shouldn't really care for, I do. It's such a well thought out story. Another sitcom that I've really gotten into recently is Will and Grace. I had never heard of it, I had never watched it. I'm obsessed. I love all of them. Jack and Karen, like, that's probably my favourite duo ever. If I'm having a bad day, that's the first thing I turn on and I feel okay. Going on to sort of more gritty TV shows, Alice in Borderland, for those who have not seen it, is fantastic. It's very graphic. Because you're stuck in this place with these characters, you really do create bonds with them, and the stakes are very high in this TV show. The Haunting of Hill House, again, you just kind of understand all the trauma that these characters go through. You just care for them. I feel very attached to all of them. And, you know, you can see their wrongdoing, but that's just kind of family dynamics for you, I suppose. And finally, to wrap up this video, one of the best shows I have watched in recent memory has been The Bear. I'm so glad I managed to convince my partner to watch this with me. It's so emotionally charged and really hard to watch at times because it just seems like the entire world of this character is just crumbling down on him. And then you also kind of think, what would I do in that situation, you know? Like, sometimes the actions he makes seem ridiculous, but then you wouldn't know until you were in his shoes what you would do. And I think that's definitely a point that the TV show makes. It really makes you care for him because this is a situation that he has been left in. He did not choose to be in this place in his life. Definitely a show that uses emotional attachment really well, and I fall for it.
Aww.
Yeah, that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing me ramble. I'd love to hear if you are attached to any of the shows I mentioned. My piece of advice for when you're having a bad day, go watch some trash TV. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want, and hit the bell to receive notifications of when I next post. Bye, love you all!